Hey, what up, Jojo Lean of Molly Media Group? Welcome to Molly's Media Corner, where we review movies and do physical media videos. Coming at ya with another movie review. This time, it be the 1987 action sci-fi hit RoboCop, starring Peter Weller, Nancy Allen, Kurtwood Smith, aka Red Foreman, to name a few. You might be asking, what business does some kid born in the year 2003 have talking about a movie that is 1 year away from 40 years old? Shouldn't he be on his bum playing Fortnite and sagging his pants? Well, that might be the case for some people my age, but with me, I had parents who showed me good movies instead of throwing shit on so I'd shut up. Albeit, I didn't see this movie up until I was 17, maybe once when I was about 9 years old. When I was about 9 years old, maybe once RoboCop 3 came on. My parents had a station called This TV Network. It was a free over-the-air network. Usually they'd watch it back to back with MeTV to watch old black and white shows. I only ever saw bits and pieces of that first movie up until I was about 17. I'm sorry, I'm adjusting my chair. I only ever saw bits and pieces of that first movie until I was 17, when RoboCop was announced for Mortal Kombat 11 DLC. I loved playing as RoboCop in that game. And I don't give a fuck what nobody says. I loved it. And then I revisited the first film with my now ex, and I loved the movie. It was very entertaining. It was very entertaining and presented a time capsule of the 80s for me. In the 1980s, 1990s, those appeared to be funner times in the era I grew up in, because everybody became exposed to the orb of confusion from SpongeBob right around 2008. Now you got people my age that don't even know what a DVD is. You got the iPad parents, bunch of crap. I didn't grow up watching my time period. I grew up watching every single one before. That's what I got. And this is part of how I became fascinated with liminality and dreamcore, folks. So, plot of this movie. In a crime-ridden, near-future Detroit, the mega corporation OCP, Omni Consumer Products, controls the city's police force and plans to replace it with privatized, automated law enforcement. Their first attempt, the violent robot ED-209, fails catastrophically, so Executive Bob Morton proposes a new solution, turning a human police officer into a cyborg. Police officer Alex Murphy is brutally murdered by the crime lord Clarence Boddicker and his gang during a routine assignment. OCP secretly uses Murphy's remains to create RoboCop, a heavily armored cyborg programmed to uphold the law. RoboCop efficiently wipes out criminals and becomes a media sensation, but then he begins experiencing flashes of memories from his past life, his execution, his wife, and his son. Driven by these memories, RoboCop investigates his own death and tracks down Boddicker's gang, eliminating them one by one. He learns that senior OCP executive Dick Jones secretly backed Boddicker to help destabilize the city and profit from redevelopment. However, RoboCop is prevented from arresting Jones due to a hidden corporate directive that forbids him from acting against OCP executives. Jones attempts to have RoboCop destroyed using ED-209, but RoboCop escapes and returns to confront him during a public company meeting. When Jones confesses to his crimes after being fired by the company's CEO, the corporate restriction is lifted, and RoboCop shoots him and he dies. Alright, so I'll start talking about Peter Weller's performance as RoboCop. He is RoboCop. He is not. He doesn't just play RoboCop. He is RoboCop, and you cannot fucking replace him. That's my take on things. As Alex Murphy, he's your standard police officer with ambition, and you can see that he has his wife and kid in mind, definitely, as he spins his gun like the TJ Laser character. Then he becomes RoboCop. He's freaking awesome. The way he talks, the way he moves. Dead or alive, you are coming with me. He really is part man, part machine, all cop. His first night is an absolutely incredible montage. When he stops the robbery at the store, when he shoots the thug in the balls, your move, creep. And when he saves the mayor, it just keeps getting better from better and it keeps getting better and better from there. It is clear that there's plenty of humanity left in him, evident when he goes to confront Dick Jones. Throughout the movie, we see he has four directives: serve the public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law. The fourth is classified. Four is that he cannot oppose an OCP senior officer. Dick's contribution to the project to cover his own ass. On top of all the action, you really feel for Murphy and the tragedy that he suffers through. One moment I have to say, it really does hit me every time I see it. The scene when RoboCop discovers that he was Alex Murphy and he finds his address and he goes to his house. All he finds is an empty house for sale, and multiple flashbacks ensue as he walks around inside. The score, Peter Weller's acting, everything about this scene just shows a perfect picture, everything that's going on with Robo. It's also quite a sight to see when he unscrews his helmet and he shows his human face. It doesn't even look human anymore. It appears that they took part of his face and slapped it on a cybernetic head. I was really engaged with Murphy's character arc, and it definitely carries the movie. According to sources, the suit was physically grueling, often taking as long as 11 hours to put on. Peter Weller lost roughly 3 pounds of sweat daily. He lost roughly 3 pounds of sweat daily due to the intense heat. Production eventually had to add a ventilation system to the suit. And I've heard some other stories as well, such as scenes where only his top half is seen. He was only wearing the top half of the suit, and below that, he was just in his underwear. That'd be pretty funny to witness back in the day. Now, the other characters. Clarence Boddicker is an excellent villain. Now, I was kind of sad that he never called anybody a dumbass in the movie, but if you can stop thinking about that 70s show for a few minutes, he's actually he's a pretty threatening guy. And the rest of the gang is also pretty memorable. Antonowski especially. So he has the nastiest death in the movie. He crashes into a container full of toxic waste and mutates the hell out of himself. And then Clarence runs him over by accident. It's by far one of the top moments in the film. Nancy Allen also does a great job. Everybody in this film really does, generally speaking. Ronnie Cox is also memorable as Dick Jones. He chews up every scene he's in, and clearly he had a great time playing the character. It was also a pivotal career shift for him, he says, as it allowed for him to break free from his typecasting and try a new type of character. Another one of the best in the movie is the introductory of the ED-209. That thing is a beast through and through. The way it talks, the way it sounds, everything about this machine is prestige. if it's not sitting next to RoboCop or in the hands of the military, of course. Honestly, a couple Jehovah's Witnesses showed up at my door the other day, and I really wish that I had like a soundboard of the ED 209. So anytime any people like that show up at my door, I can play, "Please put down your weapon. You have 20 seconds to comply," over the ring cam. And anyways, special effects in this movie are also great. It really makes you appreciate what they did in those days. Almost everything nowadays is CGI, and sometimes CGI isn't a bad thing, but other times, as we all know, it's awful. The RoboCop costume, as mentioned before, is freaking incredible. You really do look like if he threw a punch at you, you'd fly 10 feet forwards. And the gore is also horrific, especially in the scene where Alex Murphy is murdered. They blow his whole hand off and they leave him in a complete mess of guts and gore. The first time is pretty rough to watch. I also love towards the end of the movie. Spoilers for a movie that's 39 years old. RoboCop stabs Clarence in the neck and he kills him. And you really do feel that stab. Gee whiz. I already mentioned the Antonowski death scene, which was absolutely brutal. I guess if I had to say anything in this movie didn't look good or that it looked ridiculous, it'd be the death of Dick Jones when he falls out the window. RoboCop shoots him out the window and he falls to his death. They achieved this scene with a puppet and a chroma key of some sort. Um, his arms just look. His arms just don't look good. He do be looking like Reed Richards in this scene, but that's really the only bad use of effects, in my opinion, here. And it was also late 1980s, so yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and say the score is incredible. I love the RoboCop theme. I love the OST of this movie. I get the RoboCop. I start humming the RoboCop theme at multiple points in my life, just randomly. And there's a song. Here's a fun piece of trivia for you. If you ever heard, go listen to trivia. I don't know if I'd call it trivia, but I will say this. Go listen to Guardians of Asgard by Eamon Amarth, and then listen to the RoboCop theme song. Yeah. Go listen to Guardians of Asgard by Eamon Amarth. I hope I'm saying that right. And then listen to the main theme from RoboCop. Overall, the story is good. Special effects are good, great for their time. The casting is absolutely wonderful. Score is freaking sweet. I would highly recommend giving this one a watch if you haven't already. The sequels, RoboCop 2 and 3, are, well, they're good in their own ways. More so 2 than 3. 3 isn't great, and I ain't watching the reboot. But nothing that came after can stand toe to toe with this movie. I'd buy that for $1. I'd buy this for $1, maybe a few bucks more. Directive that forbids them from acting against OCP executives. Fuck!